Part 1. Experiences in a concentration camp. Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, was a prisoner in a Nazi concentration camp in 1942 during World War II. Arrival at Auschwitz. The moment he arrived at Auschwitz, he was stripped of his clothes and possessions, including his wedding ring. He witnessed other prisoners being beaten and humiliated by the guards. Frankl and the other prisoners were forced to perform hard physical labor in the camp, often for long hours and with little rest or food. Many prisoners suffered from exhaustion, illness, and injury. The prisoners were given meager rations of bread and soup, and many suffered from malnutrition and starvation. Frankl and other prisoners would scavenge for any scraps of food they could find. Frankl witnessed the brutal process of selection, where prisoners were chosen by the guards to either go to the gas chambers or continue working in the camp. He learned to hide his emotions and appear healthy and strong in order to avoid being selected for the gas chamber. Frankl observed the psychology of the prisoners and how they coped with their unimaginable suffering. Some prisoners would lose hope and give up, while others found ways to connect with others, offer help and support, and find meaning in their suffering. The case for a tragic optimism. Tragic optimism is the belief that even in the most difficult and tragic circumstances, individuals can find meaning and purpose, and that this sense of meaning can give them the strength to endure and even overcome their suffering. The human search for meaning is the primary motivation in life, and that even in the midst of great suffering and tragedy, individuals can find meaning and purpose by focusing on their relationships, work, or creative pursuits. Hope is a vital aspect of human resilience, and that even in the darkest moments, individuals can find reasons to hope and hold onto their belief in a better future. He and other prisoners found meaning and purpose in their suffering by focusing on their inner lives and finding ways to connect with others and offer help and support. Suffering can be transformative, and it is possible to find meaning and growth even in the midst of extreme suffering. The meaning of life. The ultimate meaning of human existence is not something that can be found within oneself, but rather is something that must be discovered outside of oneself, in the world, and in relationships with others. It is through our connections with others that we are able to discover and fulfill our purpose. Self-transcendence involves going beyond oneself and focusing on something greater than, such as a cause, a person, or a higher power. Self-transcendence is a key aspect of finding meaning in life. The ability to create something, whether it is a work of art, a piece of writing, or a scientific discovery, can give individuals a sense of purpose and fulfillment. The search for meaning is a continual process that requires ongoing effort and reflection. Individuals can find meaning in every moment of their lives, and it is up to each individual to create their own sense of purpose and fulfillment. Part 2. The existential vacuum. The existential vacuum is a sense of meaninglessness, emptiness, or boredom that can arise when individuals lack a sense of purpose or direction in their lives. Logotherapy can help individuals overcome this sense of emptiness and find a deeper sense of meaning and purpose. Many concentration camp inmates experience the existential vacuum as a result of the extreme dehumanization, suffering, and uncertainty they faced on a daily basis. The prisoners felt abandoned by their fellow men and by fate, and many of them lost the feeling that they were living for anything. The existential vacuum is not unique to concentration camp inmates, but is a pervasive issue in modern society. The rise of consumerism, technological advancements, and other distractions have made it more difficult for individuals to find a sense of meaning and purpose in their lives. The existential vacuum can be overcome by actively searching for meaning and purpose in one's life. This search may involve embracing personal values, engaging in creative or productive activities, or developing deeper connections with others. Individuals who fail to find meaning and purpose in their lives may be at risk of falling into nihilism, a destructive mindset that denies the value and meaning of all human existence. This can lead to feelings of despair, hopelessness, and even suicide. Individuals who take responsibility for their lives are better equipped to find meaning and purpose, and are less likely to fall into the existential vacuum. The God issue. Frankl was a deeply spiritual individual who believed in a transcendent reality beyond the physical world. It was only after I had myself confronted with the cruelty of Auschwitz that I understood the words of Goethe. If God had not created us, we would have had to invent him. For Frankl, belief in God was an essential part of his own search for meaning and purpose. Belief in God can be a powerful tool for coping with adversity and finding meaning in life. Many of the concentration camp inmates he encountered found comfort in their faith, and that faith helped them to endure the suffering and uncertainty of their situation. At the same time, Frankl recognized that belief in God is not a universal solution to the problem of the existential vacuum. Many individuals, for a variety of reasons, may be unable or unwilling to embrace religious faith as a source of meaning and purpose. As an alternative, individuals can find meaning in personal values, creative activities, or other pursuits that align with their own unique sense of purpose. Respect the beliefs of others, even if they differ from our own. Individuals who are able to appreciate the diversity of human beliefs and perspectives are more likely to find meaning and purpose in their own lives. The tragic triad. 3 psychological reactions that prisoners in concentration camps often experience are emotional suffering, sense of guilt, and loss of meaning. Prisoners in the camps experienced intense physical and emotional pain, including hunger, cold, and fear. Many also suffered from illnesses, injuries, and chronic physical and emotional trauma. Many prisoners in the camps felt guilty for surviving while others had perished, or for not doing enough to help others. Some also experienced guilt for the actions or circumstances that had led them to be imprisoned in the first place. Many prisoners in the camp struggled to find a sense of purpose or meaning in their lives, particularly in the face of the extreme suffering and brutality they experienced. Many felt that their lives had become meaningless and that they had lost their sense of identity and self-worth. The case against suicide. Some people may see suicide as a way to escape the suffering and challenges of life. Suicide is not a viable coping mechanism, as it ultimately leads to more suffering for those left behind and deprives the individual of the potential for finding meaning and purpose in life. The search for meaning is a fundamental human need, and suicide is a rejection of this need. Even in the face of extreme suffering and adversity, individuals can find meaning in life and create a sense of purpose for themselves. Suicide is a form of giving up on this responsibility. Individuals have the power to create their own meaning and purpose in life, and that suicide represents a failure to exercise this power. Hope is a powerful antidote to despair and a key factor in preventing suicide. Even in the bleakest of circumstances, individuals can find hope by holding on to their sense of meaning and purpose and striving towards their goals. Logotherapy in a nutshell. Frankl's basic principles of his psychotherapeutic approach he calls logotherapy. The primary motivation in life is the search for meaning, and that individuals can find meaning in their lives through work, relationships, and creative pursuits. The freedom of will, even in the most difficult circumstances, individuals have the ability to choose their attitude and find meaning in their lives. It is important to take responsibility for one's own life and choices, because responsibility is a necessary component of finding meaning and purpose. The role of the therapist is to help individuals discover and clarify their values and assist them in finding meaning and purpose in their lives. Even in the darkest moments, individuals can find reasons to hope and hold on to their belief in a better future. Like and subscribe for new books weekly at Illustrated Books.